Age 22. $0. The bank app at 11:47 p.m. It's 11:47 p.m. and you're checking the bank app for the third time tonight. $6.42. The number hasn't moved. It won't move until Friday. Rent took half. The phone bill took the rest. The last 40 disappeared into a subscription you forgot to cancel. The phone screen lights up your face in the dark. You eat what's cheap. Rice, eggs, whatever's on clearance. You stop buying fruit because fruit goes bad and wasting food when you're this low feels like a crime. Your friends say, let's go out. You say maybe next time. You've said maybe next time 11 times. They stopped asking. The bank app is the most opened app on your phone. More than messages, more than anything. You open it, stare at the number, close it. Open it again like the number might change if you look hard enough. 22 years old and the phone is a wound that won't close. Age 22. Minus $34. The notification that costs money. The notification arrives at 2:47 a.m. Overdraft fee. $34. You just lost $34 for being poor. That's the part nobody explains. Being broke costs money. The fee for not having enough is more money taken from what you don't have. You lie in bed staring at the ceiling doing math. Not complicated math, survival math. If you skip lunch tomorrow, you make it to Friday. If you don't drive on Saturday, the gas lasts. If the headache turns into something worse, you wait. You always wait. The next morning at the gas station, the card declines for $11.40 because the transfer hasn't cleared. You step aside. The cashier waits. The person behind you waits. You feel something shrink inside you that has nothing to do with money. 22 years old and the phone has learned how to make you flinch. Age 23. $500 the first time the screen doesn't hurt. For the first time in months, the number on your screen doesn't tighten your chest. $500, not safety. A pause. One flat tire, one urgent care visit, one broken phone screen, and you're back to zero. You know this. You've touched 500 3 times and lost it 3 times. This time you guard it like it's the last of something important. The overdraft notification stopped. That silence from your bank feels like the loudest victory you've ever had. You buy groceries, and for the first time in months, you don't calculate the total before you reach the register. You grab the name brand cereal. You hold it for a second like it means something. It does. You silence the bank app's notifications, not because you stopped caring, because you don't need them to scream at you anymore. 23 years old and the phone is starting to forget how to scare you. Age 24. $1,000 the number you screenshot. 4 digits. You've never seen this number before? You screenshot it. You don't send it to anyone. You save it as your lock screen wallpaper for exactly 1 day, then change it back. Because looking at it every time you unlocked your phone made you feel like you were daring the universe to take it. You set a rule. Don't drop below 800. You break it in the first month? A medical bill you didn't expect. Breaks that couldn't wait. You watch the number fall and your stomach falls with it. But this time you rebuild it. Not in a week. Not easily. But you rebuild it. And rebuilding teaches you more than building ever did. You start noticing where money goes. A $7 coffee, a $12 delivery fee, small leaks you never saw when you were drowning. 24 years old and the phone holds a screenshot of who you used to be. Age 25. $5,000 the hit you absorb. Something changes in your posture. You don't notice it. Other people do. The panic is gone. Not replaced by confidence, just absence. The weight you carried at 0 lifts and leaves nothing behind, and that nothing feels like everything. You stop checking the app daily, then less. It stopped being the first thing you open in the morning. An unexpected bill comes. $400, car repair. The kind of number that would have destroyed you 6 months ago. You pay it, you absorb it. Your balance drops. Your chest doesn't tighten. That feeling of taking a hit without collapsing is new. You start noticing other people who are still at zero. The hesitation before ordering, the phone check under the table. You used to be that math. You say nothing, but you see it. 25 years old and the phone is no longer the loudest thing in the room. Age 25. $10,000. The first time money made money. 5 figures. You sit with it. Not excitement, disbelief. The kind that makes you refresh the screen twice. You don't tell anyone. To most people, 10,000 is a used car. To you, it's proof that every skipped night out and every store brand and every no actually led somewhere. You open an investment app. You stare at it for 2 weeks before tapping anything. When you finally move $1,500 into an index fund, your thumb hovers over the button like you're signing something permanent. The market dips the next day. Every instinct screams, pull it out. You don't. You let the number be read for a day, then 2, then a week. 3 months later, $63 of dividend appears in the app. You didn't do anything to earn it. It just appeared. And that small number changes the entire way you understand wealth. 25 years old and the phone has just shown you a kind of math you didn't know existed. Age 26. $25,000. The conveyor belt. With an end. You feel stable. For the first time in your life, it applies to you. Bills are covered. The emergency fund actually exists. Everything they told you would work is working. Then one night you sit down with the calculator on your phone and ruin it. You project your salary forward. 30 years. Same job, same raises, same savings rate. The number at the end is fine. It's enough. But you stare at it and something cracks. Not panic, disappointment. The kind that seeps in slowly like cold air through a window you can't find. Your salary has a ceiling. You just never looked up long enough to see it. You look at people 10 years ahead of you. Same title, same desk, same commute. Slightly bigger apartments. The same look behind their eyes. They traded time for stability, and it worked once. 26 years old, and the phone has shown you a future you don't want. Age 27. $50,000. The side project that outgrew the day job. Halfway to 6 figures. You can feel it pulling you forward like gravity finally working in your favor. Your side project isn't a side project anymore. Some months it makes more than your paycheck. The phone buzzes mid-meeting with a Stripe deposit notification. You silence it. You smile at no one. Your investments return $21,000 in a single year with no extra hours from you. You start measuring time differently. Every hour spent on something that doesn't grow feels like a leak. People around you notice. Not because you talk about money. You don't. But something shifted and they can feel it. You start saying no. A weekend trip you'd put on a credit card. A round of drinks you'd feel guilty about tomorrow. A loan to a friend who never paid back the last one. No. 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 27 years old and the phone buzzes for 2 reasons now. The work that pays you and the thing you're building underneath it. Age 28. $100,000. The 6 figures that felt like nothing. 6 figures. You've crossed a line most people talk about but never touch. The strangest part is how quiet it feels. No fireworks. Just a number on a screen that used to feel impossible now sitting there like it's always been there. The bank treats you differently. Calls from advisors you didn't ask for. Emails about portfolios. Words like diversification thrown around like you've always belonged. You haven't. 6 months ago, you were Googling what an index fund was. They don't know that. They just see the number. People sense it too. Not because you tell them. You've stopped telling people what you make. But something changed in how you carry yourself. You don't flinch at restaurant bills. You stopped checking prices before ordering. It's subtle, but people feel it. And their reactions split into 2 categories. Jealousy or dismissal. 28 years old and the phone fills up with people who only knew you after the number changed. Age 28. $150,000. The distance that built itself. A friend texts you. The message is casual. Hey, any chance you could spot me 300 till next week? You stare at the screen. The amount is small to you. It's everything to them. You say yes. You send it before you finish reading the message. They thank you in a way that carries weight you weren't expecting. The thank you sits with you longer than the 300 ever could. The gap between you isn't financial, it's experiential. You live in different worlds now. Same city, same streets, different math. You stop relating to conversations about money problems. Not because you don't care, because you forgot what they feel like. That forgetting creates distance you don't notice until someone reminds you. You start measuring life differently, not in paychecks, in freedom. Can you leave this job without panic? Can you take a month off? The answer is almost. 28 years old and the phone is where the distance lives now. Age 29. $250,000, the different vocabulary. Different world, different problems, different language. You talk about tax optimization, not tax refunds. Asset allocation, not savings accounts. Your accountant costs more than your first car. The people around you earn similar numbers, not by design, by gravity. Conversation shifted without anyone announcing it. Dinners where nobody checks the bill. Weekends where nobody suggests the cheap option. Not showing off. Cost stopped being a variable in the equation. You stopped explaining your life to people who don't live at this altitude. The language doesn't translate. When you say my tax situation is complicated to someone at 35,000, their eyes change. Not judgment, distance. You felt that same distance looking up from 22. Now someone is looking up at you with that exact expression, and you understand both sides, which makes it lonelier, not less. 29 years old, and the phone has two sets of conversations now, and each is invisible to the other. Age 30. $500,000. Money with a personality. $500,000. Your money has a personality now. It moves in some directions and resists others. One investment returns $22,000 in 8 months. Another loses $9,000. You don't panic about the loss, not because you don't care about $9,000. You do, but you understand now that this is the cost of being in the game. You don't pull back. You reposition. You hire someone to manage it. You fire them within a year when you realize you know your situation better than they do. You find someone better. Someone who charges more and says less. Some months you're up 4,000. Some months you're down 3. The losses used to keep you up at night. Now it's just weather. You've learned to dress for rain without canceling the trip. The phone stays in the drawer some days. You don't notice. 30 years old and the phone has stopped being the first thing you open in the morning. Age 31. $1 million, a Tuesday. A Tuesday, nothing ceremonial about it. The app updates. The number is there. 7 figures. You sit with it. You thought you'd feel different. You thought there'd be more. There's quiet satisfaction, then almost immediately a realization. $1 million at 4% return is $40,000 a year. That's not freedom. That's a starting point. The milestone everyone chases turns out to be a door, not a destination. You walk through it, and the room on the other side is bigger than you imagined. You stop telling yourself you'll feel complete at the next number. Because you said that at 10,000. You said it at 100,000. You said it at 500,000. The finish line keeps moving. Not because you're greedy, because the game keeps revealing levels you didn't know existed. Old friends act strange. Some ask for money without asking for money. Some disappear. 31 years old and the phone showed you the number, and the number didn't show you anything back. Age 32. $5 million. The decision that took 10 seconds. You walk into rooms you used to only read about. Not because of fame, not because of connections, because your capital and your pattern recognition are useful to the people already sitting there. That's a different kind of invitation. Not courtesy, utility. You make a decision that would have kept you up for weeks 5 years ago. A company you're invested in is restructuring. 140 jobs gone. You review your position on your phone in the back of a car. The margin improves. Your investment grows. You don't feel good about it. You don't feel bad about it. You feel the distance. The gap between your decisions and their consequences widened so slowly you didn't notice until it was already permanent. The isolation isn't loneliness. It's something else. The people who knew you at $6 can't reach your life anymore. And you can't reach theirs. 32 years old and the phone has made you powerful and very far away. Age 32. $10 million. The phone face down. The phone is face down on a wooden table at 11:47 p.m. You don't check anymore. Not because you stopped caring, because there's nothing the number can teach you that you haven't already learned. The screen used to own you. You used to open it, stare at it, close it, open it again. Like the number might change if you looked hard enough. It doesn't anymore. Not for you. You give more than you ever have. Not for reputation. Because at this level, giving is one of the few things that still feels real. You sit at the same table where you used to do survival math at 2 in the morning. Tonight there's a glass of water and the phone face down. Somewhere right now, a 22-year-old is checking their bank app at 11:47 p.m. Their balance is $6.42. They think this is about money. It isn't. It's about the gap between who you are and who you become. The phone learned how to be quiet. So did you. 32 years old and the phone, at last, is just a phone.